I told you, it's the subject matter.
Yeah, it's all like weird tech
It's
stuff.
all weird electronic stuff.
Next, I'm gonna get shocked.
Next, you're going to start projectile vomiting pea soup.
Yes, none of our electronics are working.
No, I told you. It's like, that's the easiest route.
All right, well, I think everything's running now.
Hopefully.
So let's go.
We have a lot of technical difficulties today.
Yeah.
Well, there's no easy, it's funny because there's no easy segue into what I was going to talk about today, whether into it or out of it. I don't know where it fits.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, there's no way to start. How do I start talking about, I want to talk about possession,
Right.
demonic possession.
Yeah.
So how do we segue into that?
There's no segue, really.
There's no segue, except we could talk about all the technical difficulties that we've been having trying to get this podcast going today. We've never had that before.
I know, like, the mic wasn't working, the screen wasn't working.
Yeah.
Everything's freezing.
Okay.
Well, we're here now.
The thing about demonic possession or demons and possession, being possessed by demons, is that a lot of people, everyone really has a very wrong idea about it.
Okay.
They really don't know what it is. I mean, they have an idea, but it's often skewed in various directions. You have the people who are very much like religious type people. They get into demonic possession. A lot of religions have possession and demons, and they talk about them a lot, especially Catholics, right? Well, they don't talk about it too often. But they have an exorcism rite that they use, right? That
yes, sure.
Catholics use.
Religions with a lot of history that are still kind of based in traditions and stuff, they still recognize that that's
Right.
a thing that happens.
Right, they do. And a lot of it is scriptural based.
Yeah.
A lot of evangelical religions, they do exorcisms and stuff like that. Very,
Right.
very theatrical, very dramatic.
Right.
Very, very fraudulent, actually.
Okay. You mean like the ones that do it in stadiums in front of people and that kind of thing?
That's all fake.
Yeah.
That's all fake. But you also have people who are maybe not religious, and I don't want to say secular because they might have religions too, but they're more like they're into the occult.
Yeah.
They get into Ouija boards and seances, and they go for readings.
Yeah. It's so weird that these are the same people that reject religion or even sometimes say they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
They think religion is dumb.
Yeah.
And then they're like casting spells and reading tarot cards and all this
tarot
stuff.
cards, Ouija boards, and things like that.
Even like manifestation. Same
Same
it's
thing.
like, so you do believe in
New Age.
this stuff.
And a lot of them are influenced by Hollywood. They get a lot of
Okay.
they get a lot of their ideas from there, and
Yeah.
also from religions. One religion, I guess it's a religion that's really big on it, is Santería.
Yeah.
You've heard of that. They have these santeros who do cast spells, and you go to them and you get love charms, and they do sacrifices.
Yeah.
They do
What culture is that?
That's mostly Cuban.
Cuban. Okay.
Yeah, but also, in the Bronx where I grew up, there were a lot of Puerto Ricans who were also involved with it.
Yeah. So it's like a mix of Catholicism.
It's a mix of Catholicism, as it was brought over from West Africa with the slaves. And
You mean like voodoo?
Voodoo also? That falls into the same category as far as the occult goes.
Yeah.
But they're two separate things.
Okay.
But they do spells and curses.
Well, my point is it's a combination of that sort of voodoo stuff with
they put
with
Catholicism.
Western religion.
They put Catholicism into it because they were trying to hide it from the slave masters.
Yeah, I mean they do. I think all Central America, even I'm thinking Mexicans, like stuff like that. They have stuff like that too,
Right.
that they have basically taken along with them from their Mesoamerican and Aztec backgrounds. So they have all that stuff mixed into Catholicism after Spain came over.
Yeah, but
and sort of conquered them.
the Santeria practitioners,
Yeah.
they look Catholic. They have candles and they have saints.
Yeah.
And they set up altars in their house.
Right.
But then they have bloody chicken parts too. So they don't do that in Catholic churches.
Yeah.
But the thing is, but even the people that aren't, that's sort of an extreme. The ones that aren't so extreme, a lot of people get their ideas influenced by Hollywood.
But do you remember the time? I don't know if a family member, I don't know if they're going to want me to mention directly them, but a friend of theirs had a background like that or something. Like we just got the vibe that their family was weird. And at one point, there was like blood splattered on a stoop.
Right.
And it was like nobody had gotten hurt here.
You know, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
It
that
was
was on our
something-
stoop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, somebody cast some sort of spell and had put blood on our
Yeah, like
stoop.
sprinkled blood down
Yeah.
or something. And we knew it was blood because I took well, I assume this is a way to tell anyway.
Yeah.
I took hydrogen peroxide and poured on it, started to fizz.
Right.
And that means it was you know
Yeah.
biological.
That
or
was
something.
they were Hispanic too, weren't they?
Yeah, something, and they had weird stuff like that.
I
going
totally
on.
forgot about that.
Yeah, so you were cursed at one point.
Well, I'm not anymore.
Okay.
But the thing is, you have to realize there is another dimension.
Yeah.
It's out there. It is a dark dimension, and you can't automatically just believe everything that people tell you about, especially in movies and things like that, because they really have a skewed idea. But you do have to be protected.
Okay.
But the Hollywood depictions are really weird because they tend to be very extreme, very dramatic.
Of course.
I mean, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of levitation and, a lot of weird stuff that goes on. And the pictures from Hollywood are just, they're just too dramatic. They couldn't sell movies. And they could, even novels, horror novels. You have like The Shining.
Yeah.
Right? The Shining, Jack was the character, Jack.
Sure.
Jack, what was his last name?
I don't remember.
Anyway, he was possessed by a demon, right? That's Stephen King. Or you have also like The Exorcist, the movie The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Which
Linda
was
Blair.
it was a great movie. It was scary as all heck. When I saw it, I was in high school, and we were told by the brothers. I had Christian brother teachers, and we were told, you can't go see it. Don't go see it.
Why?
Because the Catholic Church is very big on exorcism.
And so they don't feel this is sanctioned by the church. They don't want you to see.
I guess not, but there was some really gnarly? I never used the word gnarly. They're really dramatic, gnarly scenes in it.
Yeah,
with
of course.
Blood and, there was,
I mean, her head does the 360 on her neck,
yeah,
right?
there was some sexual stuff too that was kind of weird. But I remember toward the end of the movie, there was this woman that just like got up in the middle of the theater and started howling, going, oh, and she went running up the aisle. Oh.
What?
Yeah.
You mean when you saw it?
When I saw it.
What happened?
I don't know. She freaked out watching the movie.
Was it like just a full theater and this?
Yeah, it was
lady's...
a full theater. Oh yeah, full theater full of people, and this woman just like freaked out and started. I don't know if she got possessed or what happened. But she was really yeah.
So it's Hollywood. It's special effects. It's
Right.
things like that. Do you think that can actually still awaken something in somebody or cause something to act up? Just
100%.
Just the idea of it being expressed.
100%. Because
Wow.
because people that do have demons in them it doesn't want to be revealed.
Yeah.
And if
So
you
even
start-
talking about this,
Even
stuff.
talking about it, it scares things. It doesn't want to be revealed.
No, I'm fine. But okay, so
Well, there was one case. It's funny in The Exorcist. I was looking at it, preparing to talk about it a little bit today. I was looking at some of the clips.
yeah,
And there's talking about the dramatic parts. There's one part toward the end when the priest who was assisting in performing the exorcism for The Exorcist, right?
okay,
Catholic priest. And toward the end, he is like, wrestling with Linda Blair, the actor. I forget, Reagan was the character, and the thing like leaves her and goes into him.
Oh,
and his eyes turn green. For
yeah,
a
I remember
second.
that.
And that was right before he unalived himself,
Okay.
through a window and went down these stairs.
Does he actually die at the end of the
Oh
movie?
yeah, he's gone at the end of the movie.
I don't remember if he dies or not.
Yeah, he
I
does.
do remember the window part.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, here's the thing: is that nowadays,
Yeah,
all of a sudden, exorcisms are becoming big again.
right.
They're becoming more popular, and I don't mean like Hollywood exorcisms.
They've always been popular.
I don't mean Hollywood exorcisms. I
Right.
mean like the Catholic Church has a fleet of exorcists.
They do,
right?
Yeah.
And according to them, they are getting more and more calls now than they ever were before. They don't have enough time to go see all the people who say they need exorcisms.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, it's becoming in vogue again to get
Yeah, but a
exorcised.
lot of them get called upon and they find out that's not really,
Yeah,
there's nothing,
yeah.
or either that or they find out that there's nothing that they can do. There was a case in another famous case. I think they made a book they made a book about it called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Does that sound familiar?
No.
Yeah,
I don't know
it was
this.
based on a real case in Germany. I think it was West Germany, where this teenage girl or teenager was maybe in her early 20s was possessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've looked at some of the clips and listened to some of the recordings of that, and I would say that's probably real. That's
Okay.
well, probably real. I can hear and see that it is.
Yeah.
And they involved some priests with that. She was getting treated by doctors, for mental condition, whatever she had. And they took her away from the medical care and put her in the care of these two priests.
Okay.
And they totally screwed it up.
Really?
Yeah, they did like 70 exorcisms that they think didn't work, but they could have, even if they did work, even if they had 70 successful exorcisms, there could have been 1,000 demons in her.
I
Who
know,
knows?
that's the thing.
This isn't usually not one.
This isn't confined to, corporeal space. It's like, yeah, you got 1,000 in you.
No,
right?
I've listened and I've seen some of the tapes on that, and it was real. What happened is she wound up dying.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she died of malnutrition.
Oh, why? She wasn't eating.
She wasn't eating.
Yeah.
And the priests and the parents were convicted of manslaughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they didn't do much. I don't think they didn't. They had like suspended sentences, did a few months.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things, and we've talked about this a lot before. It's like how the current medical community completely eschews any sort of spirituality. It's like nothing is allowed to even acknowledge that there's some sort of
right,
spiritual forces ever at work with anything.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the scientific method, I suppose. But which ironically was basically invented by Catholics. But it's been hijacked by atheists now. But anyway, so you have a situation like that where they would want to blame the priest because people don't believe in exorcisms.
Right.
So it's like, well, you took somebody that needed mental help.
You say people don't believe it, but they've done a study. They've done a national poll, and they found out that at least half of the American population believes in demons and believes in possession. Something like, it may not be 50%, it might be like, in the high 40s somewhere. Well, that's a lot of people.
And that kind of proves my point, is that the sort of the establishment has still kind of made it taboo. So even though half people believe in it,
right,
you're basically not allowed to talk about it without fear of being painted as a kook.
Right.
Because the medical community, academia, everything is like, no, we don't talk about that. We don't do that. So
if people knew how common it was and would just set aside all that Hollywood stuff, they would be shocked. They would want to protect themselves against it.
Right.
They would want to, because it's and you can protect yourself too.
Okay.
You can protect yourself. There's a regular protection that we all have protection. We all have, I mean, if there are demons, there are also angels, right? Which is another whole topic.
Yeah.
But demons are fallen angels. Basically, the idea is they're fallen angels who turned against God to align with Satan, and they now help Satan.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And the angels are charged with helping us, helping protect us against them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But there's also something that we can do. We can remain conscious. We have our own protection. We have conscious awareness because it's the demons exploit unconscious people because it creates like I'll call it a spiritual vacuum of sorts where they can get inside of you and they can actually control your thoughts.
I'm going to make you explain consciousness again.
Why?
Because people listening, I mean, it's just a consciousness is, I'm awake. I mean, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, when you're awake, you have your thinking mind, and then you have the mind of God.
Okay.
Right? Whatever that is, right?
Well, I don't have the mind of God.
No, you don't. Some people think they do. Okay. And you're here, and God's here, and that space between you and God is where consciousness exists. And you're either conscious, you're awake, allowing the will of God to enter through you, or you're not. When you're not, you're unconscious, and that opens you up. You become vulnerable to other things coming in. And they can actually change thoughts, change thinking. We have some technical difficulties today.
Yeah.
That's like low voltage. I don't know. I'm just saying something seemed to be working against us and getting this podcast going today.
Yeah.
Well, your mind is basically electric.
Right.
So when you're conscious, you're connected with God. When you're not, something can get in and take the place of what would normally be God in your life and can actually control your thinking. I don't know if it's actually, well, I don't know if they've actually measured, the devil's control with which, they can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But people's thinking does change, and your thinking goes south,
Yeah.
So conscious awareness, you have to remain conscious. And the key is to recognize that there is consciousness and you're either conscious or you're unconscious. When you're unconscious, you're vulnerable to psychic or demonic attack. And when you're conscious, you're not. It's either one or the other. There are levels of consciousness. You hear people talk about levels of consciousness.
How do you get conscious?
Right. So when you're conscious, it simply means that you're not lost in thoughts. You're not lost in your thinking. There's only two places you can be: lost in your thoughts or not lost in your thoughts. So when you're not lost in your thoughts, everybody has thoughts, everybody has thinking. But if you get carried away into it and you never step back out of the thoughts, whatever is controlling those thoughts get to control you. And whatever, if it's controlling your thinking, it can control your behavior.
Yeah.
See? So it takes practice. You have to practice. That's why, I teach meditation, and you practice it. And the more you practice it, the more you're able to carry that into your day. I call it vigilance. You're able to
it's emotions too, right? I mean, people get upset. They get resentful.
Right.
They get resentful, they get fearful, and they hold on to those things.
Correct.
And they think that those feelings are theirs. And they actually justify that with further thoughts, right? To say, I need to be resentful, I need to be angry.
Well, they justify it.
I need to be fearful. If I weren't fearful, if I weren't angry, I would never get anything done.
Right.
People think that if they're not angry, they'd never get anything done.
Yeah.
That's a common modern idea that exists, which is like, what are you talking about?
Well, they do that in sports, right? They do that with sports teams.
Oh, yeah.
Get angry, get emotional.
God.
Yeah,
when I hear like a coach doing that,
yeah,
I'm like, come on.
No, they're really doing a great disservice to those people.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
But the thing is, everyone, if people knew how common it was, if you wouldn't rely upon Hollywood and horror novels and that sort of thing, the dramatic display of possession
as the identifier,
right?
Like, if I'm not green and my head's not spinning, I'm not possessed.
Then I'm not possessed.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
Yeah,
that's not what it is at all.
Well, I mean, actually, I was reading this article about the surge in the demand for exorcisms now that the Catholic Church is facing, and one of the things the priest they interviewed said is that one, they're almost never as dramatic as you imagine.
It isn't.
Okay, it's just never. And two, like 95% of the people they visit don't actually need an exorcism.
Right.
They think it's like, no, you have mental health problems or something like that.
Yeah.
Which to me is like, okay, so now we're mixing two worlds. We're mixing the old world, which is like when something's mentally wrong with something, they're possessed, with the new world, which is there's no such thing as God. Everything's just like a mental disorder, and we could treat it with pharmacology.
Right.
So you can't really mesh those together well, to me.
Well, I can.
No, you can't, because, I mean, from their perspective, it's like, how are you going to determine that their mental illness is not caused by a possession if you believe in demons and you believe in exorcisms?
That is more toward the truth.
Right.
The thing is, everyday people we're constantly going in and out of consciousness all the time. Some people more than others. So if people knew just how prevalent demonic possession was, these things are all around us all the time, and they're constantly entering and exiting humanity.
Okay.
All the time. So that means, and if that's true, which is the scary part, that means there isn't anyone who hasn't been possessed at one time or another, or doesn't get possessed at one time or another, depending on their level of consciousness.
Right.
As I described it. So that means that politicians are vulnerable to that to the nth degree, because they're the type of people that became politicians for whatever reasons. If they became politicians for, not for the best of reasons, if they became, for power, for wealth, for power is big, right?
Yeah.
Power, wealth, control, that sort of politician. But shoe salesmen, sales clerks, bank tellers, family members, people you love, people you meet, teachers, everybody is prone to becoming unconscious and vulnerable to demonic possession at any given moment. Now, they don't stay necessarily, they leave. That's why we have guardian angels. I call them I shouldn't say guardian angels. because it's like, I don't want to tread on anyone's religious
Yeah.
liturgy there, but
Or even a trope. It's like, oh, I have somebody watching me.
yeah, they're different. But let's just leave it at angels right now. I do
spiritual warfare.
I do think they're guardian angels, but
Well, I mean, you'll meet somebody sometime, and just like a passing interaction with somebody. It could be a clerk. It could be. I remember at the boat ramp a couple years ago. I somebody was waiting, and we were taking the boat out, and I go up to him and I say, "It's going to be a minute. We just had an issue with the thing,"
right.
And he just goes like, "Ah," and he just like starts cursing. And it was like very quick, and I just like walked away because there was no need to continue talking to him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just going to wait there.
Yeah.
And I think he drove away or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, what in the hell was that?
Yeah, well, that's
literally,
classic.
what in the hell was
that's
that?
classic. That guy was possessed in those moments. I mean, he might have left and gone back to his family and been fine.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he went back and kicked his puppy. I mean, we don't know, But people, well, okay, so there are people who, this is everyday life. People get possessed and unpossessed at any given moment, right?
You think so?
Oh yeah.
You think it's not something that you have like that you're harboring and it occasionally comes out and doesn't come out? Maybe?
No, they come and go. They enter and they exit. They enter and you have an ego nature within you that calls upon these things. That these things arrive to assist. That's something totally weird. That's something totally different.
Okay,
but they're also obviously disturbed people.
Yeah,
maybe not this guy. I mean, he's
he was disturbed.
Well, he was disturbed in that moment. But there are people who are constantly disturbed all the time.
Yeah.
Right? You see people, in New York in the subways talking to themselves and crapping in their pants, and there are people who are under psychiatric care who have mental disturbances, mental disorders that they classify. How
about Tourette's? What is with Tourette's? Isn't that a weird one?
No, it's just another manifestation of the same thing.
There's this whole movement right now to sort of normalize Tourette's. It's like my life with Tourette's, and I'm just a normal person, stuff like that. And I realize that not all Tourette's manifests in swearing and curse words and stuff like that, and yelling. Sometimes it's just like tics, right? But there is this kind of Tourette's where you're just like cursing all the time. Yeah,
that's pretty severe.
And I look at that, and then I look at what we think about demonic possession and things like that. I'm like, you want me to believe this is like, the wire got crossed in my brain. It's like that's weird. That's a weird thing.
You have people who just like talk to themselves.
That's true too.
Right? Who they hear voices, they have hallucinations. There's a name for that. I want to avoid the name because I don't know if the platform would get upset if I mentioned it or not, because it's a diagnosis. But there are people who actually hear voices. They hear demons. It talks to them. It tells them things. It tells them what to do.
What do you mean? What platform? What are you talking about?
The platform where this is going to appear, YouTube or whatever.
Oh! You mean you don't want to mention specific illnesses?
Yeah, I don't want to mention the specific.
Okay,
illness.
Sure. Okay, fine.
I'm not even sure Tourette's should have been mentioned.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay, but there are people, they're mentally unstable. They put them on medications. You have that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the key is just, you encounter them all the time. The key is just to notice them.
Okay.
Just step back, notice them. Just notice. That's all you have to do. But the thing is, if what I say is true, and it is, that people have varying levels of possession and not being possessed, that if you notice that, you will notice it in family and friends. And if the thing is, when you start to notice it, there's something in them that notices you're noticing, and it doesn't like it.
Right.
You could lose friends that way.
I also think part of the trick is to scare you.
Right.
Because to get you scared is to get you emotional and get you unaware, get you detached from God too.
Yeah.
So the scary element of it can also be like, watch out, you might be possessed.
Right.
It's like now you're whipping people up into an emotional frenzy that itself is going to be more likely to cause the thing that they were afraid of and didn't need to be in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So there's that element too.
Yeah. But you have to keep yourself protected, and the way to do it is, as I say, through consciousness. So meditation is how to do it.
What do you think about these Catholic exorcisms? Do you think they're effective?
No.
No?
No, they don't.
Do you think they ever work?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think they ever work?
No, they don't know what they're doing.
So what about people who... But you have, like the case you mentioned before, you thought she was really possessed.
I thought she was, yeah.
So, and well, I guess these priests botched it and she died, right? But you don't think that somebody, how do I ask this? You don't think that there's any effectiveness of, invoking Christ's name or using a cross or something like that, even by somebody who himself might not be fully with it?
You mean the Exorcist is not fully with it?
Yeah.
Or,
let's say.
no.
So
no,
you don't think?
No, anybody can pick up a cross,
Yeah.
or toss holy water on someone, and it won't have any effect at all. But if a person is, I don't want to say pure, but if a person is themselves conscious, awake and aware, as I said, that thing in them won't be able to stand that, and it will flee.
I know, but we just talked about how these things might even act up, like in the case of the Exorcist movie, where that lady got up and screamed and ran out or something like
right.
that. So you don't think that there's any effectiveness from any of these sort of private exorcisms that happen?
It could happen, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, if you introduce goodness into a situation like that. So, for example, a demon is not going to like a cross.
Yeah.
Right. That's going to scare them.
Okay.
Right. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it depends on who's doing it. You can't just as I said, give an incantation and make a demon flee.
Right.
That doesn't work.
I saw one priest say, I saw this a couple of weeks ago. He said that Mary freaks out demons. He said bringing up Mary.
Mary freaks out demons.
Yeah, because Catholics love Mary. Catholics are very into this sort of Mary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Mariology, which I don't know if any other Christians are really. Of course, you respect Jesus's mother, and you see that she was a good woman. She is the archetypical woman. Like, yeah, you should follow her example. But the whole kind of goes into, I don't want to say worshiping her. That's going to offend many Catholics, but I mean praying to her all the time and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Catholic priest said, invoking Mary's name can cause demons to flee.
Yeah. Well, they think invoking Mary's name can also do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
They think there's power in that. But the Catholic rites of exorcism, I know they mean well, but they're too ritualistic, and they're too, you know what I mean? They're very ritualistic.
Okay.
They have incantations, and they have that's not going to affect.
How about sleep paralysis?
Oh, yeah.
That's one, right?
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis is weird. Do you think that one is demonic?
100%.
100%. It's weird because they try and explain it through science. They're
Right.
like, well, it happens when something goes wrong. They say your brain wakes up before your body, usually as you're coming in or out of REM sleep.
Right.
And it's just like a little misfire there.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, I misfired. My brain woke up before my body, and I saw, not me, I've never had this, and I saw a shadowy figure enter my room,
Right.
sit on my chest, and start choking me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a little bit more detailed than the medical thing you were just describing.
Yeah. Because that's all they have to look at. They're looking at a symptom. They're looking at that might happen because you're possessed.
Right. That's the thing.
But that's not what's causing it.
Right. So, and this is where it gets interesting. You can combine modern scientific knowledge and biological knowledge with this idea. They're not mutually exclusive. Just because you discover what strange thing happened in your mind or in your body, like, oh yeah, this fired then, or this happened at this time and that wasn't right. You haven't discovered the cause.
Yeah.
You've just found the process by which the symptom happened.
Right.
But it's like, okay, well, why did that process start?
Yeah.
What caused that process to start working incorrectly?
Right.
Right.
And that person is vulnerable to begin with.
Yeah.
So all sleep paralysis is not necessarily possession.
Okay.
Because it might not work. In other words, it's an attack. It's a demonic attack is what it is.
Yeah.
But if the person would calm down and step back from thoughts and become conscious, that attack won't work.
Right. And
they can resist it.
Sleep paralysis, assuming it is demonic in nature, let's say.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, everybody throughout all of history has always thought it's demonic.
Mhm.
The fact that in the past 60 years it's even controversial to say it might be is so ridiculous.
Right.
When I mean literally all of human history is like, yeah, that's a demon. Nightmare, it's literally nightmare. It comes from an old English word for a demon, for a spirit. It literally comes from
Mare, Mare, I didn't know that. Mare.
yeah, it's not a horse. That's a different.
No.
Okay. But yeah, it means night creature, night demon.
Ah.
It's like something attacked me in my sleep.
Okay.
So and we've kind of loosened the definition. Anytime you have a bad dream, we call it, oh, I had a nightmare. But yeah, it's like I had a nightmare. I think something spiritually attacked me while I was sleeping.
Right.
That is a literal nightmare.
Right.
And so we literally have the word that comes from this idea that demons attack you in your sleep. And what they found is they've done studies on this, about 30% of all people have at least one episode of sleep paralysis throughout their entire life.
Okay.
So
It's a pretty stupid name, sleep paralysis, isn't it?
it's a scientific name.
Yeah.
It's what we came up with.
Yeah.
Before it would have had a different name, like a nightmare. I was attacked. But anyway, 30% have it. So it's quite a large number.
Okay.
Especially if we're talking about demons, right?
Mm.
I mean, like you said, the Hollywood depiction of demonic possession is like, oh, maybe one out of 1,000 people will ever
Right.
have to go through anything like. But it's like, well, 30% of people have some form of or have had some form of sleep paralysis before,
Okay.
right?
I've never had it.
No, I've never had it either.
I'm 68 years old and I've never had it.
Right, I've never had it.
Yeah.
But
I've had other things though.
but some people have it like over and over, and it's like graphic.
Yeah.
Like
Well, because those people, for whatever reason, are vulnerable to attack.
I remember one time I was on Facebook late at night. I was probably a teenager, and I was on my phone. I opened Facebook, and I was about to go to bed, and a kid posted a Facebook status update, and it was like, oh my God, I was trying to sleep. I don't know what to do. I opened my eyes, and this creature with giant purple eyes was sitting at the edge of my bed watching me.
Mm-hmm.
And I closed my eyes and opened them again, and it was gone. I can't go back to sleep, something like that.
Yeah.
And I read that, and this was like a classmate. This was like a kid,
Oh, someone
who
knew.
went to the school I went to.
Yeah.
It was a public school. It was before I went to private school. And I checked back like 5 minutes later, and he deleted it. I think, or an hour later, and I think he realized it was.
Yeah, you can't
shouldn't
put
be
that
sharing
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Wow.
I mean, he could have been high too. He could have been taking drugs.
Maybe.
You don't know, but obviously
Well, when you
saw
take drugs,
something.
that can happen too. It's not always.
Oh, yeah, it does. It doesn't explain it away.
No, because you talk about people take drugs to stay unconscious, and
Right.
you become vulnerable
And
that way.
That's the thing, is that these drug users,
That's what happens with LSD.
these drug users and people who go through sleep paralysis, and depending on, I'm not saying they're one and the same, but the interesting thing is they go through very similar experiences to other people with the same thing. Like somebody on the other side of the world takes the same kind of drug,
Right.
and they see the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Or
It's
somebody with sleep. It's like somebody with sleep paralysis. Doesn't matter if it's India or if it's China or if it's
Right.
America or it's Germany. It's like, yeah, something crawled in my chest and I couldn't move.
Yeah.
You're
opening a portal to the same dark nether regions.
Yeah. And we all have the same biology
Right.
when it comes down to it. And we have the same things that can be exploited,
Yeah.
within us.
It's always amazing when people come back from, their little LSD trips or their hallucinogenic trips,
Yeah.
and they start to talk about how wonderful it was. They all have the same story.
Right.
They all have the basics. Everybody might have different elements, different details, but they have the same overall story. They have come to realize that we are all one.
I know.
They
It's
all have
always
that same
oneness.
theme.
Always.
It's always. And they have different things,
It's always, we're all
It
connected.
could be
We're all this-
Alex Jones sees gnomes running around or whatever it is.
It's always the idea that we're all part of the same consciousness.
Right.
I am you, you are me, and we are all together. That's what it always is, right? So, I mean, yeah, nobody ever comes back from the jungles of the Amazon and says, I was humbled by God's glory and I will serve him.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says that.
From drugs. No.
No, that's never what happened. They're always told that we're all the same and we all need to like each other and
Well,
get along.
many of them are told that they have had a spiritual experience and they've seen the reality of the universe.
And that's what they think. That's what they come away thinking.
It's all the same theme
all
the time. And there's a reason for that, because that's what the devil wants everyone to believe.
Right.
Because it goes back to the Garden of Eden. You are God. You can be God.
Right.
That's the original story.
Speaking of Adam and Eve, I just saw this picture today, and I'm going to show it to you.
Okay.
I just happened to see it today. First of all, it's Columbus Day, right?
Oh, happy Columbus Day.
Happy Columbus Day. Which I'm proud to say out loud. And I was looking at the statue of Columbus that sits high up in the middle of Columbus Circle.
Sure.
In Manhattan,
Yeah,
right?
by the way, they're trying to make that into a landmark so that people don't tear it down. There's a movement now.
Oh, you mean like an officially recognized
Yeah,
landmark, so nobody can, the next politician can't just remove it. You mean?
Right. Yeah. So people are working. I mean, just as
Mom
a
Dami
pessimist.
would get rid of that in a heartbeat.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Even if it weren't an official act, he would let somebody destroy it.
Sure. And they will.
But let me show you what statue is in the shopping center below.
Below what?
On Columbus Circle.
There's a shopping center below
there's
Columbus Circle?
there's shops at Columbus Circle.
Oh.
Okay.
Must be part of the subway system down there.
Here's what sits inside it.
What?
That's inside it.
Is that the Black Pillsbury Doughboy? What is that?
I know. No, it's definitely. Here's the thing. It's definitely a black person.
Okay.
But they're like morbidly obese.
It looks like Idi Amin.
It's supposed to be. They're calling it Adam and Eve.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an artist's depiction. He's entitled to it.
He's entitled to it. I'm not entitled to see it. He's not entitled to force me to look at it. I just think it's crazy.
That's somebody's vision of Adam and Eve.
I know, but you can't be taking art that looks like that. That is offensively ugly. Okay.
It is not beautiful.
It is gross.
It is not beautiful.
And to take that and to basically force it upon the public.
Yeah.
To say, I know this is ugly. I am going to force you to walk by it and see it.
Yeah.
In public.
Yeah, because
that is creepy. That is evil.
That's not all they're saying. They're saying a lot more than Adam and Eve.
I know.
They're saying a lot more.
I know, but the point is it's evil.
Yeah.
You're taking something horrendous and ugly and you're making people look at it.
Right.
That's weird. That's weird. Yeah, so anyway, I just figured I'd show you that real quick because I had to see it earlier today, so now you did too.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Well, it is Columbus Day.
Columbus Day. Columbus is a courageous explorer.
Now, do you know the story about the moon with Columbus and how he used his knowledge of the moon?
No.
When he got to the New World?
Isn't the moon just a holograph being projected above the Earth?
Hologram? No.
Hologram?
No.
No, okay.
It's not. But anyway, no, he came to the New World.
Yeah.
And I don't know on which trip this was. I'm not going to get the details right. But he came to the New World and he encountered the people here, right? The American Indians.
Right.
And they wouldn't share their food with him, but his men were going to starve.
Is this in America or one of the Caribbean islands? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to assume it's the Caribbean.
Okay.
I don't know. Did he land in America proper?
Hispaniola, right? And
on his first journey? I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, might have been in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But I forget where he landed when. But anyway, so he's talking to the natives.
The natives.
Okay. And he needs food for his men, and they won't share.
Right.
But his men are going to starve. So they don't have time to plant and grow their own food and all that. So, but what he does have is he has knowledge. He has a calendar. He has a lunar calendar.
Yeah.
And he knows on a specific date, there's going to be a blood moon.
Yeah, right.
Right, an eclipse. And the moon is going to turn red.
Yeah.
And he warns them. He says, you have X many days to provide us with food, or our God, which is much more powerful than your God, will turn the sky red and show you that he's ready to take you on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's much more powerful than yours.
Okay.
And they go, no, he's not. And then, of course, it happens. Because they know it, because they know how the sky works, and the natives don't. And it happens, and it scares the hell out of the natives. And they go, okay, here's the food, take it. So that's pretty cool.
That's
and of
pretty
course
cool.
you hear that and it's depicted as like what a savage Columbus was for tricking the natives like that.
Oh.
But I hear it and I'm like, that's badass.
Yeah,
His
that's
men
pretty-
were going to starve.
That's pretty smart.
His men were going to starve and you had the natives share the food.
Yeah.
You know.
That's pretty cool.
So that's a real story. It's like a real story.
I kind of remember something about that.
Yeah.
But, then there were atrocities, too, that were committed not by Columbus, but by his men later on. There's a whole story. Maybe we can get into that one day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, men did bad things too.
Yeah.
That definitely happened. I'm not like going to sanction every action every, Westerner took.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is exaggerated. A lot of it's made up. Like the smallpox blanket stuff, which has nothing to do with Columbus. That's later. Most of that's exaggerated. That's not a real thing. You've heard that before,
No.
right? The idea is that like we were so evil, we being the West, Europeans, that we gave smallpox blankets to American Indians in order to kill them.
Oh, I see.
And that's not true. There's no real proof of that. It happened like accidentally, like once or twice or something.
Right.
But there's no proof that there was some sort of campaign to do that. That legend began later, but then it was taught in school. It was taught to me when growing up. It might have been taught to you. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, because you grew up earlier than this sort of campaign to make America evil,
Right.
which happens in the education system.
Right.
So I was taught that Europeans were so evil that we engaged in biological warfare. We pretended to be giving them warmth and comfort, and we were really killing them. And that wasn't a true story. So anyway, it is Columbus Day. I know Trump did recognize Columbus Day. I didn't realize this. Every year, the president signs a Columbus Day proclamation. Excuse me. But what he didn't sign today, which Biden signed last year, is the Indigenous Peoples Day proclamation on the same day, which is so nefarious because that's one of those things. It's like you're trying to set up division. You're trying to create division. You're trying to set up a counter to Columbus Day. You could have picked a different day for Indigenous Peoples Day. You could have picked some day in June if you wanted.
If you had to have one, why not?
No, you picked Columbus Day because it's not actually about celebrating people. And this is true with everything the left does. It's about hating and condemning other people. That's what fuels them. It's anger and resentment toward others.
Right.
Jealousy and resentment toward others is literally the fuel of the movement, of their movement.
And people are susceptible to it, so they exploit it.
So they exploit it. So, but the thing is, resentment is not exclusive to the left. It's on the right too.
Absolutely.
And people on the right, even though it's less, which is why the right is better, honestly, it still exists and it can grow and it can fester and it can take over your whole movement. That's what happened with the left, but with the right, that can happen too. And I see people now more so than just a year ago who are complaining and yelling and screaming all the time on the right about things that the administration and other people on the right are doing. And I'm like, where's all this infighting come from? Where's it all coming from? And it's almost like a pathology. It's like I'm looking around and things are getting better than they were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Truth, goodness, righteousness is winning right now. Mm-hmm. It's gaining ground over and over. I mean, if you told me 10 years ago where we'd be now, I would say, well, that could only be through a miracle. Could that happen? And yet here we are. And yet people who claim to be on the side of good are saying, it's not moving fast enough. They say, I'm even hearing like Trump's been compromised by Israel.
Yeah, right.
That's another one.
Yeah.
It's like, where are you getting? Why are you such a doomsayer? You're such a naysayer, a doomsayer all the time.
Right.
And I believe that it comes from resentment. It comes from the resentment prevents you from being able to celebrate what's good and what progress is happening.
True.
And you begin to recognize, you actually become unable to recognize progress. And instead, you find the negative in everything and how everything's ruined, even when things are getting better.
Well, you have people that have sort of, that used to be like pro-Trump are now totally against Trump. They've flipped around the other way.
And which is so weird because he's doing everything he promised when these people were pro-Trump.
That's true.
So that's my point. It's like, now that things are getting better, you were so busy hating what was happening when it was bad.
Yeah.
You can't stop now that things are getting good. You have to keep hating. You still have that resentment. You can't turn it off.
A lot of people did not really up here psychologically, let's say, survive or spiritually survive COVID.
COVID and then the Biden administration. Yeah.
Right.
COVID.
That followed it.
2020 election. 2020 election.
Right.
COVID.
Right.
And then the whole Biden administration. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And they became full of anger and they just turned against everything that would have worked for them.
Right. So now that the things are getting better, they still have that anger. That anger is still controlling them. They thought that an objective analysis of what was going on allowed them to decide to be angry because it is right to be angry now because things are bad. And once things turn good, I won't be angry. Nope. Things are going good. You're still angry.
They're still angry.
Because you were controlled by the anger in the first place.
They're possessed.
A lot of them probably are.
Oh, they are. Definitely. Definitely are.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are people talking about like Trump being the Antichrist and all kinds of weird stuff.
That's crazy.
I heard a guy say, it was a video. I get that, once you click on a video,
I know.
The platform thinks that that's what you want to see. So now I get all these people who are like, they think that Trump is the Antichrist and now he's going to go and he's going to move to Israel and rule the world from Israel as king of the earth.
Oh, wow.
And all this crazy stuff.
That'd be cool.
These are no, it wouldn't be cool.
No, it's
not going to happen.
It's absurd.
It's so absurd. It's ridiculous. And they have turned against. They've turned against really American ideals, and that's really what MAGA stands for.
A lot of them are isolationists too. They don't want to be involved with anything the world is doing. And I understand that perspective too, because our involvement thus far, over the past, 40 years, has been so atrocious. I mean, we've basically just been giving everything away because America's this treasure trove, really.
Right.
And we've basically been giving it all away to these other countries and letting people take advantage of us.
Sure.
But not letting people take advantage of us does not mean isolationism. Right. It doesn't mean we literally don't engage.
It also doesn't mean lack of charity.
It doesn't mean lack of charity. But the thing with isolationism is we can't afford to be isolationists right now because our main competitor is still China. That is true. Long term, 100% true. It's not long term. It's not Iran. It's really not Russia. It's not Palestine. It's not Gaza. It's China, and that's why China is doing this chip ban too, because they're seeing the success that we're having. And do you know about the chip ban?
No. Okay. I mean, I've heard of it, but I don't know the details.
Yeah. So China basically sent these letters out. Yeah, I shouldn't be calling it a chip ban. It's rare earth minerals.
Rare earth, right?
Yes. Okay. And they added a bunch of rare earth minerals to this list of ones that they're really exclusive about.
Right.
And because they mine them, they control like 90% of the Earth's.
This is the stuff to produce chips and batteries and.
Yes. So you make chips out of it, and they don't. Now they're saying that they're gonna issue licenses for people for manufacturing chips and stuff with their rare earth minerals.
Okay.
And they're looking at not just the nation they're trading to. They want to know what you plan to do with that chip. They want to know, is it for defense? Is it for this? Is it for that? And they want to know who you're selling it to. Say, well, if you're selling it to him, we might not give you a license because we don't want him to have a chip. So they're cracking down on this. They're making it really hard to obtain chips.
Right.
That's what they're doing. And they're doing it, I think they're doing it because we've made so much progress with trade over the past few months that, I mean, the Gaza deal that's happening now as well. It's like if Trump's hand is involved with all these different peace deals, he gets to have a say in how these people trade. We get to set up trading relationships with these people.
So are they curtailing rare earth materials coming to us?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they are. Directly and indirectly.
So why don't we just go to Argentina?
Because they control like 90% of Earth's rare earth minerals. Okay. Not just the supply, because honestly, we probably don't know what the real supply is. Just like gold, it's like, or oil, it's always changing because we're finding more.
Right.
I don't know if we're finding more gold. We're finding more oil though. But anyway, but they control the manufacturing as well. So they have a monopoly on the refinement, production, mining of all rare earth minerals, and they're clamping down on who gets to buy them right now.
Right.
They're creating bottlenecks to keep us from developing tech like AI.
Okay.
Okay, because
Well,
they
that's
want
not good.
no, it's really bad.
No, we
It's
have to lead the world with that,
Right.
which I think we are right now.
Right. So, and the reason they're doing that is because the investment that we've gotten, that Trump secured, and the deals that he's made, the trade, the peace deals that he's made,
Yeah.
opens up the door to trade deals throughout the whole world
Yeah.
with America that are going to undermine China's goal, which is like, you know, a decades-long plan of world dominance. Is what they're going for. They want to be the new United States.
Right.
They want to take over as the premier superpower. And this past 9 months has been a total wrench in their plans.
Yeah. So recently Trump is imposing a 100% tariff.
Yeah, so he responded with a tariff.
Right, which goes into effect, I think, like November 1st or something. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that in response to that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's saying we are going to hit
Good.
you hard.
Good.
And you have to.
Yeah,
You have to.
Absolutely.
I don't know what they're going to do. The thing is, the last time they felt backed into a corner,
Yeah.
COVID happened. I don't know what happens if they feel backed into a corner this time. What I mean is they're not going to just acquiesce and disregard their decades-long plan to take over the world. Right. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what their big red button under the glass door does when they hit it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think in 2020, some unfortunate Wuhan shenanigans occurred.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens now.
I don't know. What has to happen is Trump has to go and sit down with Xi and cut a deal
and work it out. I know, but what I'm saying is Trump won't work out a deal that isn't advantageous to us.
Right.
Eventually, China says we're losing the advantage, and they do something, regardless of Trump's negotiations, that really hurts. And I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know when it's going to happen. Well, I'm hoping it never happens.
It's better to keep it in the business realm, in the trading realm, than in the red button missile realm.
That's what I don't think it'll be a missile. I really don't. But that's what I'm saying is once they lose in the business realm, they're going to take it elsewhere. Yeah. And I don't know how that's going to be. I mean, I saw a report today. China has, and I'm sure this exists in lots of different realms, not just water, but they've hacked into water plants in the U.S.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're all in these water plants.
What do you mean they?
Like over
China?
200. Yeah, China. Chinese hackers are in water plants.
Huh.
They're in water plants. And I saw an interview on 60 Minutes with one guy. He was talking about how they let the FBI know, or CIA or whoever, and I guess they secured it, but it's like, yeah, China was in our plant. And they asked him, well, what's controlled digitally? Like, what's controlled remotely about this plant and he's like, everything. Yeah. Every chemical. I mean, they have toxic chemicals that they treat the water with. Right. What if China just like unloads a whole bunch of chemicals into the water?
Just poisons everybody. Or a portion of us.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we just took out Massachusetts. You want to take off that tariff now? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like now that
would be war right there. I mean,
and it wouldn't happen like that. I'm being cute. Yeah. But my point is they are ready to take next steps. Could it be necessary at some point? And I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I don't know.
Let's see where it goes.
But the truth is the isolationists, the naysayers, the doomsayers, the people who are anti-Trump now, who were pro-Trump a year ago, they are all caught up in resentment. And the only thing that they are going to do is help China. That is what their role is, as long as they are angry, bitter, resentful people.
They won't be able to help it.
They're not helping America.
No.
They are not.
No.
Okay? Because the same people said, oh, we should have never hit Iran with that strike. That was a terrible move. Now we have the Gaza deal happening. That's
because of that.
We could never have had this Gaza deal happen if it weren't for that Iran strike.
No. All of the countries surrounding Iran have a problem with Iran. Yep. Iran is a big bully.
Yeah, they're bullied.
They want them subdued. They want them put into their place so they can operate, and they'll deal with us.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, is that it for today?
Yeah, probably.
All right, I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, everything worked. I don't think any electronics turned off on us.
I don't know. I hope not.
No.
It did in the beginning.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it in another podcast.
Nah, we hit it.
We hit it?
Yeah,
no?
we okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.